The Buck Onset, a knife I didn't particularly love. I had lots of issues with the blade and the grind and the thickness behind the edge and all that sort of thing, making it a knife that I'm unlikely to carry in its existing state. So it's kind of liberating when you've got nothing to lose on a knife. I just thought, well, I've got some tools, I've got some things in my shed. I'm gonna see what I can do with it. The worst that's gonna happen is that it's even less value to me than it already is, which is currently not very much. I'm not a particular big reseller of my knives or anything like that. So let's see if with things like disc sanders and orbitals and a Tormek and a work sharp, if I can make this cut the way I want it to cut. Possibly at the expense of any good looks it may have had. Anyway, work montage. Righto, so that is my new blade. It is probably 1/2 millimeter thinner all up. I did a fair bit of work on both of the faces with both the Tormek and then with the orbital sander. It also has somewhat of a convex edge from the spine all the way to the blade. It's not the most neat uniform convex edge in the world, and you can see where it kind of particularly convexes just there. I did that using the kind of the work sharp but freehand by really tilting it back, and I tried to keep it cool and stuff between passes and all that. I used the Tormek a lot to remove material towards the edge, and then I used the orbital sander to just thin the whole blade stock out, and it has been thinned out a fair bit. You can sort of see where it goes in there just above my thumbs. So it would have what I would describe as about a 15-degree convex edge now. I have chased it up a little bit so it does have that kind of untidy neck part here. However, it certainly does slice better than it ever has. You can properly do steered cuts and things like that. It is properly thin. Well, it's not It's still not the most thin behind the edge, and it's definitely not an open L still or anything like that, but it is much thinner behind the edge. What I basically did was with the Tormek, I concaved it quite dramatically. You can sort of see where the color is different. And then using the orbital sander, I've allowed it to sort of catch up a bit. And then I've used the work sharp to neaten it up again as well. So by really just pushing the whole blade face against it, there is a bit of an air gap there where it doesn't touch a part of the blade, but it got a lot of the edge and it actually got a bit of the, sort of ended up crowning the spine just a little bit as a byproduct as well. So this was never a particularly amazing looking knife, but it's probably a little bit uglier now, but by gum does it cut better, that's for sure. So I actually ended up using this as a bit of a workhorse around the block folding knife. Who knows? Certainly I like it more having done that than I did before. So there we are. Overall, the knife lost a couple of grams of weight in steel, so that's probably just a little bit of steel from the surface. So it started off as 129 grams on my scales, and now it's about 125. So yeah, bit of steel moved. Overall, I'm somewhat happier. Certainly I'm not a knife modder, but somewhat happy with my home job on this guy here.
Looking back, a morning comes, don't find your face in your grass. Take the moonlight by the touch of any such a shading. What is there? It's just the same. What it's dry in your crown. I'm spanning my grass, walking back so when my grass you're fading. I'm waiting so long. I'm waiting so long. I'm waiting so long. I'm waiting. Rolling up the stones around and turn your face to your back. In the silence of a better dream, singing to the wind, you're shedding.
I see this as an absolute win.